Hi, I want to talk about a problem that is growing, the potential threat from the development of quantum computing. You've all heard of ransom, malware, but what about harvest now, decrypt later threats? This is where data in motion collected now will become vulnerable to attack when quantum computing becomes a reality. We're hearing increasing concern around this. HSBC are working with BT to trial their metric QKD network. This was announced in the press recently. EY have been working with BT to trial a metric QKD network for the past year or more. They are all worried about harvest now and decrypt later. They are all worried about the potential damage quantum computers can and will do in the wrong hands. And we are all unsure exactly how far off this threat really is. Data breaches are getting more prevalent in the current geopolitical climate, with attacks from criminal organizations, gangs linked to nation states, and often those nation states themselves, and they are growing in size. They adapt to the changes in technology fast and are more and more creative. As they get more complex, our laws and regulations tend to lag far behind. Those laws are often siloed with over 2,500 data privacy and security laws worldwide. It is usually difficult to keep up, and as you can see, a large number are citing that complexity as a reason for not deploying data security. On top of all this, data keeps on growing at an exponential rate, set to double between now and 2026. Protecting that data as we access it or when we transfer it to the cloud or between data centers is vital. If we want to avoid our secrets being open for all to see, being exploited or blackmailed, we need to ensure our data is protected. Market verticals subject to the highest cyber attacks have historically invested in Thales products and services, and some have focused on data at rest, but have not really thought about protecting their data in motion. They tend to transport the largest data volumes, as well as having the highest value data, typically telco, finance, utilities, government, and healthcare have been the most successful verticals for high-speed encryption for a wide range of use cases, from data center connections through CCTV protection to protecting data moving to the cloud, as well as control planes for critical national infrastructure. Some organizations are using the Thales high-speed encryption products to protect data in motion across all networks to provide disaster recovery, redundancy, and business as well as operational continuity. Across core internal networks, providing protection for intellectual property and personal identifiable information. High-speed encryptors have multinational connectivity and support full mesh, partial mesh, or a hub-and-spoke environment. The Thales HSE capabilities are unparalleled with their post-quantum cryptography. They will ensure your network's safety for its life. They are vendor agnostic and will work with any routing capability without affecting the performance of that network or adding to the overheads. Organizations are looking for a versatile solution that can be introduced across all sites, regardless of their network type. As I said, high-speed encryptors are vendor agnostic and encrypt data transmitted across all networks and encrypt with very low overheads and extremely low microsecond latency. Thales devices are certified to global standards such as FIPS 140-2 Level 3 to ensure relevant compliance. And what this means to you is that there is an additional way to ensure that the large amounts of sensitive data that are passing through the large pipes can be encrypted without affecting the performance of those networks. You can be safe in the knowledge that you're able to use your link's entire bandwidth whilst remain secure, thus saving you huge network upgrade costs and justifying the spend on that encryption. The separation of duties means that the constant patching required with some networks won't affect your network security whilst using high-speed encryptors. The encryptors are FPGA, and thus firmware can be upgraded if the field ever required. High-speed encryptors is vendor agnostic, as I said before. A bump in the wire solution. It is simple to install and often referred to as set and forget. With its transport independent mode, it operates at layers 2, 3, and 4 with near zero latency and no performance degradation due to the very low overheads. It is future-proof with support for hybrid classic and PQC modes at layer 2. And unlike most of our other cybersecurity products, HSE tends to reside in the network world. If you are embarking on or in the middle of some sort of network transformation, data center growth or consolidation, or moving to the cloud, you should think about talking to Thales about how we can secure your network without compromising its performance. If you already have thought about encryption, you may well be looking at IPsec or MACsec. And whilst they have their place, they have been around a while now and are not fit for modern networks. They're not future-proof. High-speed encryption can outperform these comfortably, and we have an ROI calculator to support those conversations as well. There are a wide variety of use cases for our Thales encryptors, but the most common is to encrypt sensitive data between data centers, typically at speeds of between 10 gigabits and 100 gigabits. However, there are a whole raft of use cases that we have sold encryption for over the years, from the data center links and disaster recovery sites through critical national infrastructure, such as comms networks for the electricity and gas industry, to SCADA control links, as well as CCTV networks for border force and police constabularies. We have provided encryption for some European air traffic control networks, as well as for a number of foreign and domestic government requirements. We protect the sensitive data and IP of the research academies that work with government and enterprise. We protect satellite, 5G and cloud links. We work with AWS, Azure and Google, as well as on containers, Kubernetes and hypervisors, and we've provided encryption for some large SD-WAN networks. We've also provided encryption for TV networks, wishing to ensure that people do not manage to hack into their feed and watch for free, ensuring the integrity of the product being provided for consumption. So there are a lot of use cases that we can turn to. Essentially, anywhere there is a layer 2, 3 or 4 network that is being routed and traffic is being moved, we can encrypt that data without adversely affecting the performance of the network or the delivery of the data. As I've said before, we're a bump in the wire, virtually invisible, and this is the key difference between us and IPsec. HSE is simple to install. It's a set and forget solution, effectively. So the security of today's public key cryptography rests primarily on the assumption that certain mathematical functions are complex to calculate or decode without access to computing power beyond the realms of today's classical computers. However, with the advent of massively powerful quantum computers in the next few years, such assumptions will no longer hold. Much of today's encryption will be vulnerable. Moreover, information which has been downloaded today may be decrypted offline in the coming years. Store now, decrypt later. Therefore, governments and enterprises need to start investing in quantum safe cryptography, including key distribution solutions as QKD, quantum key distribution, which can withstand quantum computers, quantum random noise generators for true randomness, and quantum resilient algorithms to address the potential vulnerability of existing algorithms, as well as quantum hardened management. All governments and enterprises should envisage a move to quantum safe security as an integral part of their risk management planning, and new investments in infrastructure and security measures should be taken in accordance with such a plan. The Thales high-speed encryptors are currently the only quantum secure Ethernet encryptor available in the UK with PQC that you can install now, knowing that your network is protected for years to come. As these encryptors are vendor agnostic, you can lift and shift as required. They will support all types of layer 2, 3 and 4 networks if you're moving to data to the cloud, if you have a public or private 5G network, if you are moving data between public, private or hybrid data centers, or even between branch and head offices. If you have an SD-WAN, we can support with our virtual capabilities. If you have an idea of the data that you want protected and would like to explore options or look at a free 90-day trial, just pick up the phone or drop me a mail and we can set up a call to discuss. And after all that, if you want further collateral support, then you can get all of this from either visiting our website or by contacting me directly. And finally, please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need support with anything high-speed encryption related, or Nilly Pegg, who is the account director for BT Group and can support you with anything encryption or data protection related. So the opportunities are out there. Let's publicize our long-standing partnership. Let's identify how we can help your end customers together. Joint customer calls, proof of concept studies to showcase our value, add interest to data protection officers, network security architects, CISOs. We are keen to help wherever we can. don't be afraid to reach out. We're always willing to talk. Many thanks.